Welcome back to the Pro Series Podcast. This is episode 104, and today's guest is Quentin. He is one of the owners of Q&A Landscaping here in Pittsburgh. This is the first time I've ever had a landscaper on the podcast or even talk about this topic. So it was really cool talking about exterior patios, all that stuff. So before we hop into this episode, please like, subscribe, and review this podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts. And now I hope you enjoy this episode with Quentin from Q&A Landscaping here in Pittsburgh. Awesome. Quentin, thank you so much for hopping on the Pro Series podcast today. Can't wait to talk to you. I always start off in saying how we got connected, and it was on Instagram. I don't know if you commented on something or I commented on something, but it's kind of cool how we connected, and we're in the same area, but we had you thought I was in Florida, and it was kind of funny.
Yeah, right after I saw you had liked one of my pictures, and the blue check mark next to your name caught my eye when I saw it on the message.
Okay.
So I clicked it, and I said, oh, wow, he's putting out content and has different home pros on and stuff like that. And but you were in Florida at the time. So I was thinking, well, it was a little bit away, but it was a wide range of people on. So I figured I'd reach out either way.
Just to see. I'm glad you did, because I've never had a landscaper on or anybody that started a landscaping company, so it's kind of cool to get that aspect of it. And I try to stay in the construction, real estate, design type of field for the Pro Series, so it's kind of cool to get your side of the business and learn more about it.
Yeah, for sure. We complete landscape and hardscape projects in Pittsburgh. We're in the South Hills of Pittsburgh. In Clairton, our shop is located right across from the steel mill on 837. You can see little bits of it in the background behind me, all the trucks coming from the mill. But we have about 12 to 14 guys, depending on the time of year. Sometimes as it gets into fall, we start to get a little lower fall through winter. We do snow removal in the winter. And past few years, definitely been big uptick in the amount of outdoor projects going on out there. Since the start of COVID, definitely saw an increase.
Yeah, so you're not just doing like landscaping as in plants and irrigation, that type of stuff. You're actually doing patios and kitchens and stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly. We got started doing lawns like most landscaping businesses would. And over the years, we grew into other landscaping projects, from lawns to mulching and planting and just a lot of different landscaping projects. And then we got into patios and hardscaping, retaining walls, concrete. We've done some outdoor kitchens. Just over the years, it got into bigger projects. We did sell all of the lawns probably about 4 or 5 years ago at this point, just to do projects. We have a landscape crew out there every day completing projects, and another hardscape crew out there completing projects.
That's very cool. So we were talking before we hit record, and you kind of started this business. Did you say you started this back in high school with your friend?
Yeah, me and my business partner, Anthony, went to high school together. We were in homeroom together, and we both were mowing lawns, just like for people in our neighborhood. Maybe as, 14, 15-year-old kid, you push your lawnmower up the street to some old lady's house. But once we got our licenses, we decided to start doing it together. And then we would start going other places, other neighborhoods nearby, anywhere. We grew up in Jefferson Hills, so really anywhere in Jefferson Hills, Pleasant Hills, we got started doing that. And early in high school, we quickly got it to like 60 lawns a week, which is a lot for a high schooler over the course of the summer and after school. And, we grew that through high school and then college, and we continued to do it through college. We went to Pitt. And we were going to do it through school to try to pay for some of school. But originally we had thought probably that, we would both get office jobs after school, and that this would just be a way to kind of get through school. But over college, our business definitely grew to the point where, it was feasible to think about doing this long term. We continued to get into projects, and just kind of through college got better at running the business and getting to apply some of those skills that we were learning. And so it did turn into something that we pursued after college full time. Once we were done with school, we were really able to put more time and money into the business, and to be able to make long-term decisions and buy things that were going to be able to help us grow. Right after college, I got an office job at an accounting firm, Deloitte downtown, doing valuation, and I worked there for 6 months, and I
Mm.
knew after probably 5 months that this wasn't for me. I did before I leave. I used my pay stubs to finance a new dump truck right before I quit my job, so that I could get the money to kind of buy our first dump truck and start to grow our business and kind of get to the next level. So I got that dump truck and then I quit my job, and we kind of just kept growing from there.
Yeah.
We have
How?
7 dump trucks now, but that first one was definitely hard to pull the trigger on.
Oh yeah.
They've gotten better over the years, but it's always cool to look back at that and see that picture. That was probably about 7 years ago now.
7 years ago since you started it, or is when
Uh,
did you start?
7 years ago was when we bought that first dump truck.
Okay. So
That's
how long has it been that you guys have been in business?
Well, 13 years ago, we were in high school, started passing out flyers and mowing lawns together.
Okay.
First 6 years of high school and then college, it was only able to grow so much just because we were full-time students.
Oh yeah. How hard is it? I mean, in our business, there's so many family owned and like friends that own companies together. How hard is it to stay partners and friends, even though like even back when you were in high school? I mean, that's hard in itself. You guys haven't even seen like the real business world yet, and you're kind of starting this company, and then you go through college and you become more of an adult. How hard is it to continue that relationship and keep business first?
It is tough. Definitely at times it strains you, but I think it's about having like the same common goal. I've seen a lot
Mm.
of partnerships fail in my space and other spaces that I've heard of or seen, or I've talked to people about it. Um, it there is no great secret to it. It's just having the common goal. Most of the time, we get into a disagreement. It's about what's more efficient, or what was the best way to do this, or something that might have gone wrong. But these are small things, and in the end, whenever a couple hours later you think of it, the goal was just
Hmm.
to make more money. We were tied together, and that's a lot of times what it has to come down to is you guys have the same interest, and if your squabbles are about things like that, where it's like a productive squabble and it's driving growth, and there's been times where we've had disagreements and not spoke for a couple of days, or spoke the minimum amount, maybe not as much as friends would. You're talking about work, but nothing more. And I think that those things kind of force you to get better and
Mm.
grow. It just like at your job, if you were somebody's employee, at times maybe your boss would hold you accountable or would bring something up and it would rub you the wrong way. That same thing needs to happen when you're a business owner sometimes, that,
Hmm.
kind of forces you to grow and learn.
Yeah. And off camera, we were talking about how hard it was to transition from doing the actual work and now doing behind the scenes business stuff to keep the business going. I feel like that's something that's very common in our business, or anybody that's an entrepreneur trying to grow a business. They kind of want to do the management, or I mean just do the actual work because they're very tedious. It's their name on the line. How hard was it to jump? Because I know you said you kind of are more in the office now and not doing the hands-on stuff.
Yeah, it definitely it was a hard transition. I think every business faces that, where you go from being the person producing the work or highly involved in every single aspect of producing that first crew worth of work, to needing to step away and grow the business in other ways. And for me, like most people, I bet it started at night. I would work and cut lawns or help the crews all day, and then after work, I would do some sales, do a few estimates, and go home and then do some office work. And in the beginning, that's a little more feasible. After you do that for so many years, you start to realize, I probably can't work 14 hours a day,
Hmm.
6 7 days a week. The the luster of that grind wears off over time, truthfully. Whenever the first few years after college, I had no problem doing that. I loved it and I saw great results. But then after you do that for a few years and you realize I need to get out of the field and I need to do these things during normal business hours and focus on them, and then start to pick up the other things that help you to grow your business, the background tasks, in addition to just sales, but also starting developing, a marketing plan and small things over the time that are going to, really pay off that might not have immediate results, but when done consistently year over year, they do produce results. Like the big thing I always think of is Google reviews. When I started emailing people for Google reviews 6 or 7 years ago, it
Hmm.
got a few here or there. It didn't seem like it was doing a lot, but now we have 120 Google reviews, and every year you get 5 to 15 more, whatever it is, depending on
Hmm.
how active you are, and it really builds over time when your competition is not.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because getting reviews is very hard. I know I struggle with that even too, just for the podcast itself. But how do you overcome that, and how do you get customers to leave a review? Because there's a lot of customers that want to. It's just you can't like say, hey, just do this. I mean, you can if you're more of a friend with them. But what is your advice on that?
What I try to do that I've found over the years I've gotten better at is check in sooner after the job,
Hmm.
not make it more so like a once a year I'm going to email every job I did and try to get the reviews. Do it once a month. That's how I do it now. It definitely helps. I send an informal small email with a direct link to fill out the Google review. I
Smart.
think that's definitely helpful. I had tried the constant contact route where I would send them more of a nice newsletter email with formatting and everything to it. It just looked too much like junk mail, in my
Yeah,
opinion. I was getting a little bit less of a response to it. A couple sentences saying that, we appreciate your business and it's really important to us to get Google reviews because it helps other customers like you pick us when they're looking. And it really means a lot when people leave us a Google review. If you could do so, the link is below. We appreciate it if you can. And
absolutely.
it just keeps it really simple. And it's a lot of people don't have a Google Gmail account, or maybe they're a little bit older, and that's not for them. I've had some old ladies respond to me with their Google review as the email, and like thinking that they could just respond back and say, "You did such a nice job, thank you." And it was nice, but it wasn't a Google review.
Yeah,
Um, it's always great if you can try to mention to people to post a picture with the review. I've started to get better at that. I definitely think that
yeah.
helps. But sometimes when people thank us after their patio is complete or something, like they go out of their way to write us a thank you email, I will respond to that email asking for a Google review pretty much because it's fresh in their mind. They're very appreciative. It's going to be, a good opportunity right there to go.
Absolutely. One piece of advice I've actually told this to clients, like if they are older clients that send you in a review over email and they just don't have a Google account, just post it on social media, like as an actual in-feed post, because your social media is like a search engine now. People go on there, and it's something that I actually want to talk about because your website, I have it up, and your social media is very updated. It it's straightforward. It tells you what you guys do, all your different projects. How important is digital marketing in your company, and why do you take priority to it?
Yeah, I think it's everything. I think a lot of our customers, their first interaction with our business is online. They found us online or they got an advertisement from us and it drove them to our website. Yes, we get a lot of calls, but at this point, over half of the interactions I get are first online. And so that first image is everything. Giving people the services you offer so that it's clear to them and they do not waste your time. And also giving them the ability to book an estimate online, I've found was a big addition. Like you can go to my website, you can type in all of your stuff and say, I want you to come next Tuesday at 3 p.m. And pick from the available times that are there for you. And that has really helped as well, just allow people to quickly schedule an estimate, put in their description, and get something that they're interested in.
Yeah, that's smart because a lot of people are there waiting for the company to call back to schedule it, and that could in that time period they could have been called another company and already scheduled something out. So doing it all digitally is a lifesaver in any business.
Yeah, it cuts that stuff out. And, if you miss a call from a customer, they are calling three more people after you, whatever it is, until
Hmm.
somebody answers the phone. In my mind, I I believe that people will continue to. I have an answering service for when I don't get to the phone, so that at least it doesn't go to a voicemail. Because I have felt like voicemail. A lot of people do not leave voicemails. They'll just call
Yeah,
somebody else. I do return
that's
people's
smart. So tell me
voicemails,
about,
don't. And so I think they have that negative
yeah,
connotation of how many actors have they left a voicemail for that hasn't called them back. I try very hard to answer every phone call so that I can immediately determine if we can help you, weed out if we can't or if it's not going to be a good fit, and then get you an appointment on my schedule so that I can come and see you and get you a price.
that's smart. Tell me about that. You said you have an automated. It's not doesn't just go to voicemail. I went to a seminar in the winter, and they were talking about how AI is becoming this big thing for automated systems for small businesses because it allows them to let the customer feel heard because it's telling you everything that they do, and it allows them to kind of go through like press one. Like, we've all been to customer services, like press one if you need this, press two if you need that, and how important that is to a business because it gives you to the right person in that company and it makes the customer feel heard. Is that kind of what you're doing here?
Well, mine right now is still a live person that is answering. There are starting to be some
Okay.
good AI ones out there. I didn't really
Yeah.
find much of an entry level one in my search, and I believe that over the next few years that will dramatically increase. I figured that
Oh
this
yeah.
is a good start for now, and when the time comes, I'll definitely be ready to upgrade to the AI. I think that for a simple script like mine, where I'm just getting your information and setting up a callback, that's a clear win for me for them to be able to really automate this as opposed to an answering service that has a little bit of variability within it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were showing us it was more of like if you go to someone's website and you're chatting with someone, that's what the AI is for, kind of. So they analyze your website and they know everything you do, and they'll be able to answer majority of your questions for you while your customer's kind of chatting with you online, but it's really you're chatting with the AI.
Yeah, that's really going to be a big step in our industry. I think there's going to be lots of uses for AI in our space. For me, what always stands out is it's definitely coming soon. Is to be able to go into somebody's backyard, take a picture of their backyard, or pull
Yeah.
up a rendering of their backyard, and then show them these are some of the options that it could be instantly. I feel like
Yeah.
good enough. I'll take a picture of your hillside and your plain backyard at your new house, and I could, within a minute or two, show you five options with costs that this could be. I don't think that
Hmm.
that's that far away with some of the AI designs that we're starting to see come out.
Yeah, I mean, they already have that for interior homes that you just take a picture of your kitchen and it'll remodel it for you. But do you think that's going to take away business from designers or landscape architects and stuff?
I think that there's a place for it. I don't know that that kind of flashy software is outdoors with slopes and grading going to provide a final drawing. I think it will
Yeah.
preliminarily show you some options. I think it will expand people's horizons on what it could be and get people maybe outside of their comfort zone from the square patio in the back of their yard because they'll right away see five other options that would be a little bit flashier, maybe. That if this person just wanted something standard, that maybe you wouldn't take the time to manually show them or design them now. I think it'll really show people what else there could be and kind of just add to like the different possibilities out there.
I agree. I think it helps out the designer or landscape architect figure out what because usually when you're designing it for you get some answers from in the initial meeting, but you don't actually know what they want. And being able to show them multiple different options, you know what to design and what they actually like, and it just makes their life easier and it makes the sale faster as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it weeds out some people. It definitely, decreases any wasting time and just gets you there faster, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what is one misconception or a mistake that you see a lot in homeowners in Pittsburgh kind of wanting for their backyard that's not realistic, or something that they do that kind of drives you crazy? I know in interior design and kitchens, there's millions of them I could go on for. One of them being like painting granite countertops. I've just never understood. But is there anything landscape wise that you kind of think is one of your pet peeves?
For me, it's more so building a nice project with nice materials, but with a poor contractor, where you'll see great material, bad execution. And it was clear that they went with somebody that gave them a good price and that showed them great materials, but there was a clear lack there why it didn't turn out why they wanted. Where you'll see a really nice wall that is a couple years old and failing. We built a lot
Yep.
of retaining walls, and I see a lot of poorly built retaining walls. And Pittsburgh is a city of hills. It is everywhere. You look around, and how many of your neighbors have one or multiple retaining walls of some type? And sometimes I see a lot of poorly built retaining walls, maybe that were overpromised and underdelivered,
Yeah.
or in the same thing with patios, different bits like that. That's where it's more so just disappointing to see a waste of materials, and then for a couple years in, somebody has to redo it. That kind of band aid um, project where it's just it was a waste of money and it's not going to last. And it's even worse whenever you see a really nice material wasted on that.
Oh yeah, I have a story to tell you off camera. I don't want to say it on camera, but I'll say it after. But I want to finish off on where people could find you, where you do your business, your website, your social media, kind of just promote where you are.
Yeah. Q&A landscaping.com. Oh, sorry. We'll have to cut this out. All
You're
right.
good.
Our website is qalandscaping.com. You can find out online all the things we do, see lots of different pictures, and then even book an estimate. We service areas south of the city. We do a lot of work in the South Hills of Pittsburgh, Peters Township, Upper St. Clair, Mount Lebanon, over to Jefferson Hills. We also do work in North Huntington, really anywhere except for too far north of the city. And that does start to get a little far for us, just being with our shop in Clairton. We have an
Yeah.
Instagram at QA Landscaping, and then we have Facebook, QA Landscaping 412. We're very active on Instagram. I post lots of stories and different stuff with our equipment. And if you wanted to follow along or see more of what we do, that would definitely be the best place to get current updates. Otherwise, I am also on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. My name is Quentin OD. That's ODEA. If you type it in, I'd be happy to connect.
Awesome, Quentin. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day and hopping on the Pro Series podcast.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to talk. Have a great weekend.